Let's go.
Shout out to Matt Burke for destroying that rail. I know we've all had that rail that we've just looked at for years, just like, I'm gonna beat you one day, but you're absolutely terrified of it. Nothing beats the feeling of beating that rail. So huge congratulations to Matt, and if you haven't checked his channel out, you definitely should. But anyway, what up, it's Brennan here. Welcome back to Blader News, your #1 rollerblading news source. Once again, brought to you by Sweet Moves, the Wellington-based rollerblader owned and run moving company. Check the link in the description to book a move today. But anyway, let's just roll into it with some industry news. And the first thing we're going to talk about today is some sad news regarding another infamous spot possibly being gone forever. And that spot is Brooklyn Banks in New York. A picture was just recently posted up on Instagram showing the spot with the bank completely gone. This is not long after the infamous spot El Toro got taken out, so it's just another hit for skating as we lose more and more of these famous spots. Now there is a slight chance that this is just a temporary thing while they're upgrading the bridge or whatever's there. They might be putting it back in because apparently long ago they took away the smaller banks that were there, but they left the bigger ones saying that it's just going to become a skate park. So there is some hope that they're just going to put it back after, but you know what the world is like and how anti-skating councils can be. So, you know, it ain't looking good. In other news, you may have noticed that Blader Union's app and website went down for a day. One of the worst parts about it going down was it's lined it up perfectly with the day that I go and check for some last bits of news for this, so it made my life a bit harder. But anyway, the reason it went down is because they went and tidied up the back end of the website, adding a couple new features, including a way to search for stuff on the website. But they also came back announcing new team members. And this new team includes Kevon Thompson, or Biz as you know him, which probably isn't a surprise to anyone because he's been putting in work at Blader Union for ages now. It's good to see him officially on the team. They also added Stefan Brando, who's one of my favorite skaters. I'm so glad that he's there too. As well as John Fromm, who's one of the best pros in the game right now. So that's a really solid team. I'm glad Blader Union's expanding and they've got some really good people there. And yeah, it looks really good. Blader Union also mentioned what they've done in their 3 years of being around. And they highlighted the fact that they have put $5K back into rollerblading from crowdfunding, which I think is really cool. The fact that there's some people doing this for non-profit, just time out of their day for their love for rollerblading, just having this essential service for everyone, looking out for everyone. It's just so great. So, you know, shout out to Blader Union again. I'm always going to be shouting them out. And congrats to everyone who is now on the team. You guys are all. Something else I want to bring your attention to is a new international skate comp that's going on Facebook. It seems to be filled with a lot of really cool prizes and anyone can enter, anyone around the world. You can be anywhere and I'll send it out to you if you win. This comp has a bunch of categories. It involves you posting a clip using the hashtag in the comments for each category. And there'll be judges. Some of the judges are some really good pro skaters, which is cool. And yeah, you're going to be winning some free stuff, which is really cool. I highly recommend checking it out if you're bored and you know you want to win some free stuff. And the final story I want to touch on today is going back to the fact that inline skates topic in sport is still trending up right now. One of the really cool parts of this is the fact that skate shops are like booming right now. They're really pushing out skates to the fact where some of them are actually expanding their teams, which is something you would never have assumed a few years ago. There seems to be skates just flying out the door to everyone. I wanted to touch back on the fact that I gave Impala a lot of credit for this. After hearing what people were saying and actually looking into it a little bit, that's definitely not the case. I've given them way too much credit for this. I think they're a part of it. I think inline skating is trending right now because of a bunch of different factors, including we saw a bunch of articles come out talking about the fact that rollerblading is a really good exercise to do while you're in lockdown or quarantine, as well as the fact that a lot of ice skaters can't ice skate right now, so they're training on rollerblades. And there's other sports that are doing similar things like that. I think a lot of things are leading together right now for this point right now where people are learning about rollerblading again, which is so cool. So if you are one of those new rollerbladers that just came back into rollerblading and you're somehow on this video, I just want to give you a huge welcome back to rollerblading, and I hope you're having a great time. And I encourage everyone else to welcome these new people and help them out with any questions they have as well. But anyway, this is super cool and exciting. Let's hope it keeps going like that. But anyway, that's it for industry news. Let's move on to everyone's favorite part of the show, product news. And damn, I have a lot to talk about. First up, I want to show you something that isn't new at all. It's actually very old, but it's a prototype picture that went around of a USD skate that got abandoned. I think the reason it got passed around so much is because it's pretty ugly. If you want to know more about the history of the skate, I highly recommend once again checking out Older Blader's Instagram. He's got a whole deep dive on USD. And he also did an update on this skate in particular. Apparently it was a successor to the skate. I've never heard of this, I'm too new school for this. Gricon skate, look like this. And they based the idea on stealth aircraft. You can really see that in it. The rollerblade twister ended up taking the same kind of look, and I think they pulled it off really well. But yeah, I highly recommend checking out Rollerblading if you want to learn some more stuff about the history of rollerblading. It's so interesting. And an actual new product, which isn't out yet. This was going to be in the media part of my video here, but when I actually looked at this teaser, I kind of saw that it's actually a new product, and that is the new Them Momentum VOD that's coming out. It's another Too Easy collab. The last time they did that, the Them 909 was announced, and if you look at this picture, it's pretty obvious that there's going to be a new Them frame coming out, which means we'll finally get a Them complete boot. So we've just got a couple pictures to go off now. I guess we'll see when this VOD drops what's happening. Also, did you know that Them Coffee had its own Instagram? I didn't. You should check that out as well. Right now we're living in the do-it-yourself, make-it-yourself rollerblading era, and that's proven once again by Justin Thursday, who has been making his own 3D printed aluminide parts for his skates for a long time now. He recently just did an interview with One Mag where he goes into how he got into this and, you know, whether it's his job or a hobby, and he talked about some of the things he's been working on, and some of them sound so cool. One in particular is a sole plate that is reversible. So that you can actually take it off, turn it around, and put it back on the other way, so that if you're wearing a sole, you can flip it and now that's your negative. It's just genius to me. I don't know how that hasn't existed before. Another really cool thing he's been working on is making a sole plate frame integrated thing that can screw on just via stall bolts onto carbon boots. He's calling it the Carb Aeon, and that's another thing that sounds really cool. I think the day is going to come where UFS is just going to be no more. Actually, now that I say that, I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know. But anyway, I think this is really cool. The interview is definitely worth checking out. If you want to get some of these custom parts Justin's been making, definitely check him out. It'll be linked in the description. He is selling them as he makes them, so yeah, go support someone doing something cool. Dead just dropped a new wheel, and it's got that simple Dead look to it, where it's just crisp, nothing crazy, just clean. It comes in 3 different hardnesses. You can get it in 88, 92, and 95A. And it's a 58mm wheel. The profile was designed by Kyle Solar, so you know it's perfection. It was tested by Alex Brosco and David Sizemore. I think this is old news though, it's just the Dead profile. The cool thing about it coming in different harnesses is if you skate flat, you could actually have some harder wheels on the inside, and you won't have mixed matchy wheels because they all look the same, which is so cool. They also brought out a new anti-rocker as well that is 45mm and 100A hardness, and it just looks so crisp as well. They're a pair meant to be, you know. So if you've been hanging out for some new wheels and some new anti-rockers, definitely go check out Dead. Now, you may have seen these frames going around to your favorite creators. It's the new Endless frames. Now the idea behind this frame is the Endless Freeride. It's a frame that can both be a tri setup and also a balanced rocker 4-wheel setup. It comes in 3 different sizes. This goes from 80 to 84mm 4 or 100 tri, from 90mm to 110 tri, to 100mm and 110 tri. You can even add a brake to it if you want. Now I'm still pretty new to anything outside of aggressive blading, but these look really cool. I love the look of them, and I love the versatility. It could be good to get a frame that lets you try both, and if you don't like one, you're not screwed and stuck with a tri frame if you don't want one. I'm always glad to see new products in any part of rollerblading. I've got another anti-rocker for you to check out, and it's that one we spotted a while ago, and I can't even remember the name of the event now, but from Red Eye, and it's their new anti-rocker. Apparently it's based on an old Mind Game wheel, which I know nothing about, but it has a really good looking angle to it, and I would be really curious to see how that skates. The anti-rocker is 46mm, and it's 101A, I think. I was trying to listen to the video where he says, and I couldn't really tell what he was saying, but yeah. It's also actually a pro wheel for Jason, which I think is the first time I've ever seen an anti-rocker be a pro wheel, but I haven't really been paying attention until I started doing this. But anyway, Red Eye is a really good company. This is really cool. Congrats to Jason. Jason's also been doing a bunch of really cool blade chats, which are kind of like podcasts, which are definitely worth checking out as well. That'll be linked in the description. And congrats again, man. It's so sick. We've got another product which is definitely not new, but it caught my eye and I had no idea it existed. And this is Seba Pocket Shoes, which is essentially just a really lightweight, flexible shoe that you can roll up into your pocket. And the idea of this is that you won't have to carry big clunky shoes around when you go skating, which is just so smart. And now I want these really bad, even if they look a little weird. And I don't know how I never knew they existed before now. And for our final piece of product news, I'm going to be talking about the Hardline skates again. So these skates were actually going to be made off the original Bauer mold that AJ helped make. AJ was one of the people behind bringing this brand back. In the last Blade News, I did the worst thing ever and said it was based off the Sabotage. The Sabotage boot mold was the knockoff of the Bow, so that's, man, I don't know why I said that. But anyway, as fast as these skates came up, they've already been cancelled and they're not happening anymore. Some things about AJ's past came out and the people working with him to make it all pulled out. I'm not going to get into the details here, but it was pretty messed up. But on that note, that's it for product news. Let's move on to my favorite part of the show, media you should check out. I'm going to start this off with some self-promotion. If you wanted to know the work that goes into this show right now and how much time it takes me to make each episode, I made a behind-the-scenes video that's definitely worth a watch. I'd appreciate it if you checked it out. I also edited a video for one of my friends who recently just got back into rollerblading, and he absolutely kills it in this P-roll setup. And it'd be so sick if you checked it out. Remember Groovy Deed? Well, it's now available for free, and you can definitely afford that, so you should check it out. It's a really good piece featuring some absolute blade gods, including Eugen, Yoto Goto, Shiro, Karel, just names I'm going to butcher to death, but the video's so good. It's got a really jazzy feel to it and there's some crazy skating in it. It's filmed really well. Definitely recommend checking it out if you didn't catch it the first time. We got a really sick leftovers edit from Drummond featuring a sweat stance that causes a bench to catch on fire. I really love the vibe of this. It's not taking itself too seriously. It's got a lot of stupid VFX in it that looks so cool. And yeah, definitely recommend checking it out. We've got an absolute masterpiece called Neon Inline by Rob. This is filmed in Wuhan and it features some really good skating and just a really cool vibe. And I said it best at the start, it's just a masterpiece. Shout out to the guy who called that I was going to mention this in Blade News as well. I've got another VOD for you to check out, and this is Calls from the Bank. You can actually get a free teaser of this video right now thanks to them. They posted up Danny Bear's part from this, and it will really help you capture the whole essence of this VOD. After watching this, I feel like I've been rollerblading wrong my whole life. It's just so creative, but it's creative also in a way where it doesn't take itself too seriously, and I had a really good time watching this one. I'm sure you can tell just by the lineup of people in this video, you know, Danny Bear, Robbie Pitts, you know, like that's the vibe this video is going to have. Some of the highlights that I really liked was this point where you can roll on water, this weird little like plastic box slide, also this like Christ heel roll. Like, I've been skating wrong my whole life, I swear. Another really good thing about this video is another one of those really great dollar to minute ratios. It's $20 for a 28-minute film, and just to come back on that, I wouldn't even be mad if videos cost more than $1 a minute, because it's more expensive than you think to sell these videos. You know, it's not free to sell these videos. So I definitely recommend checking it out. It's another really good piece. Sneakiest part from Forever was posted on Facebook. I assume that's probably because of the copyright of the song or something, I don't know. But anyway, it's absolutely amazing. It reminds me why I absolutely love sneak skating. It's one of my favorites. I really wish I could see more, and particularly more of him, Josiah, and even Jake Dawson, which is possible now because he's back skating. This ender is just perfection, you know. The whole video will really pump you up, and I just really want to see more sneak. You're the man, sneak. And to finish this off, I've got an underrated video from Cameron Card, and it's all about getting busted. This is where he goes and looks back at all the footage he has and all the times he's been kicked out of spots and how he's reacted, reflecting on how he did it and how he would react now. And it's super relatable. It really touches on that point of, you know, how you feel street skating now that you're more of an adult, you know, and you understand why people have a problem with it. It's just a really good watch. I highly recommend checking it out, and you might as well subscribe while you're there as well. Links to absolutely everything I talked about today will be in the description down below, including links to some bonus things that I didn't specifically talk about. It's a secret link that you should definitely check out. And that is it for Blade News this fortnight. If you want to support the show, consider hitting that join button or the link in the description to become a member. You get a really cool badge next to your name in the comments, or you can just subscribe. That helps just as much. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Huge shout out to my patrons and members: Costa Blades, Adam, Kevin, Chris, Deb, Dennis, Fabian, Joel, Lake Brothers Blading, Mark, Mike, Nathaniel, Sean, Sonic Sports, Skids Grind Plates, Sweet Moves, Tagi, The Aggressive Chef, The Book of Grinds, and Tice. And I'll see everyone next week. Peace out.